I want to begin with a kind of blessing prayer. I'll end the same way. O God of those who have gone before us, O God of our children and those still to be born, O God of creatures and all growing things, O God of the heavens and the seasons, of winter's barrenness and spring's energy, of summer's fruiting and autumn's ripeness, you are the God of all life. May we know you and reverence you in all that lives. So I introduced myself earlier. I've never been in a rap song before. It's just the best thing ever. So introduced myself earlier as Barbara Brown Taylor, friend of Gladdening Light. I've been introduced as a keynoter for this weekend, but I think I'm a key listener instead. I listened so well that I heard Rami steal my sermon at 11:33 on Friday morning. And Mirabai set the bar so high on the Divine Mother that I'm not even going to talk about her tomorrow. So she is in the liturgy. I cannot imagine how long it's been since Thursday evening. Does that seem like a long time ago to some of you? A long time. This is the last event, shockingly, of this symposium. It is a conversation between the three of us here, between the two of them, and between the blessed ones in front of us and all the blessed ones on the stage as well. It's also the beginning of the rest of the symposium, which is what happens when we all go home and we tell other people about what we heard and what we saw and what we thought and whether we slept well or poorly and all the other things that will give this symposium life long after we have returned back to the places from which we came. I texted these two earlier today and said, here are the 3 rules. Let the music soften us. Don't rush anything, and trust the Spirit. So that is the spirit with which I enter this conversation time. And they know most of the questions I'm going to ask, but I have a surprise 1 or 2. And they know they're allowed to ask me surprise questions as well. And if this is being taped, we're going to destroy the tape afterwards. So the plan is to end when the Spirit lets us know that everyone here is tired and wants to go home. And I'm the one who gets to read that because, as Rami said, I have the microphone and I don't get paid. So I'm just here for love. The first question, though, and this is a question I love to ask couples of all kinds, friends and parents and children and people who partner for life, but it is that you two seem to know each other, and you did not come here as strangers. And so the question, and like most couples, I want to hear both stories, but it's how did you first meet one another? And I'm interested in how each of you recalls that.
Okay. We just figured it out today, I think, or yesterday we remembered, because we feel, I think, I can speak for both of us, but certainly for myself, we feel like we've known each other forever. There's such an alignment between Rami and me, or at least there was until about 3:30 this afternoon. When he said cultural appropriation is not a thing. But but I feel so aligned with Rami, and the minute I heard him open his mouth, I was like, oh my God, this is my brother. This is my soul brother. And it was in my hometown of Taos, New Mexico. And it was probably at least 12 years ago or more, 13. And we have a small Jewish center in Taos that's non-denominational. You don't have to adhere to any particular Jewish denomination to be part of the Taos Jewish Center. And they brought Rami Shapiro. I don't know where that happened, how that happened, because we rarely have the funds to bring someone from outside, kind of make do with our own internal community. And he started talking, and I was like, yes, this is a non-dual Hindu, Buddhist, pagan Jew like me. And he speaks exactly my language, like just to a precise degree. So I think I was given the task of taking you around Taos. And I took him to the Hanuman temple, which is a temple to Hanuman in Taos, New Mexico, a kind of Hindu-esque temple co-founded by Ram Dass, my lifelong friend and mentor. And I brought this rabbi from Miami to the temple, and we sat down and chanted to the Divine Mother, and he was totally game. Of course, I thought that was normal still at the time, that you would bring a rabbi from Miami to the Hanuman temple and chant to Kali and Durga. But he was totally there with me, and I just felt such a resonance. And then over the years, we've appeared at many of the same interspiritual gatherings, a term that I no longer like. Yeah, it just, I don't. I think
you have to tell us why.
I will. It's becoming a thing, and as soon as it becomes a thing, it's, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao, that's why. So that's kind of my story. So we followed each other around these interspiritual gatherings over the years since then. Does that sound about right? What's your recollection?
I've never met this woman before in my life. But if I had, and it was me with Mirabai in the Hanuman temple, so she left out the coolest part. Right, the coolest part was, she's showing me around, it's very tiny, and this family from India comes in. And I guess they're expecting a more formal temple with a priest, and they want to do puja. And there's no one there but the two of us. And then Mirabai says, I can do it for you. And I thought, well, they're never going to let that happen because she's not a guy and a Brahmin and all that. And they were very cool. They said, oh, that would be wonderful. So I'm looking for a hymnal or something, right? And she just starts from memory, does the entire service for them. And it was mind-blowing. That's when I would say that's the moment I really began to know you. Another moment where my knowledge of Mirabai was deepened is when Frank and I put together the World Wisdom Bible. And there are like 4 or 5 copies left, I think. If you still haven't gotten one, it's my only book left. Go buy it. And we turned to Mirabai for the foreword, right? She wrote an essay that bested the book. You know what I mean? It was the best part of the book. When you go on Amazon, it says you can read the first few pages. They don't show you the World Wisdom Bible. They just give you what Mirabai wrote because it's so great.
Well, it's because it's the first few pages.
Yeah, I don't think maybe that's all it is, but I don't think so. It's so powerful. She got me, she got the project, because who you are is more than what we see. I don't know if that makes sense. We see the form, but the formless that is manifesting as you is palpable. And that's what I resonate. That's what I think of when I think of you. You are living out the Shekhinah energy.
Thank you, Rami.